Welcome back to another special edition of Cape Band. Today, as always, we're with Erika Brown of the Cricket coming to us from her office in beautiful downtown Manchester by the Sea. How are you, Erika?
I'm doing great, Corey. I'm doing great.
Yeah,
Although
another
I went
busy
out,
week, right?
full disclosure, I went out last night, so I'm I'm dragging.
Oh, that's all right. Well, yeah, this is early for us today too, but we have a lot going on. So,
Yes, we do. We
okay,
do.
so off the top, there's a really cool event coming up in Essex just a few weeks away called Essex In Bloom.
Yeah, we covered that last week in last week's paper. It's Essex in Bloom is a program. It's a state grant that the town of Essex won along with Manchester. Manchester and Essex applied together several years ago to the state for recovery funds, COVID recovery grant funds. And they were successful to come up with programming that would help downtown, vibrant, keep downtowns vibrant, downtown business, to support them during the off season, during the season when things are kind of quiet. So that's January, February, and March. Manchester, if you remember, did theirs in February, and it was a skating event. They bought those all season skating rink tiles, which they purchased, and they're going to do that every year, and it was really successful. Essex, on the other hand, they decided to push it into May, mostly because the restaurants that really are kind of the one of the big gigs, right, in the Causeway downtown, right? There's many of them are seasonal, and they're seasonal in that either they close down, which is less the case, or this is really the case. They go way down to a bare bones kind of operation, and as a result, they couldn't handle like big crowds. They don't have the staff for it, so they basically said no, no, no. The retailers kind of relented, and they came up with this program called Essex in Bloom. It's going to take place May 19th, 20th, and the 21st. We covered it's really interesting. The economic development, the town's economic development committee has been leading the charge, but it includes a lot of, the restaurants are doing their things. So you've got a lot of independent things. You've got a lot of town events, like they're gonna have the official ribbon cutting for the bridge opening up again. Bridge
Yeah,
has been under construction on the causeway for the last 18 months.
yeah, year and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, so it will already have been open by then, but it'll have the ribbon coming, but they're gonna have music, they're gonna have a giant mobile selfie station, and it's all gonna be kind of floral, Essex in Bloom. But then there's also blended things. So there's literally events all weekend long. It's gonna be fantastic. But some, and the businesses are doing something, but then there's also stuff where the businesses and the towns are working together, which is kind of interesting. Anna Hardy of Anna Hardy Design, she's up over by the mill and Schooners and Essex Bird and Pet Supply.
Yeah.
She's right next door there. She's an interior designer, very creative. She has a showroom there. It's beautiful. She actually arranged to have an excavator on one side of the bridge and then a old-fashioned vintage pickup truck on the other. And the excavator is going to be, and I can't wait to see it, it's apparently going to be just completely like covered in flowers. It's going to be very, very dramatic. It sounds like. I talked to her. And then on the other side, there's going to be the vintage truck, and there's going to be sort of the flatbed. It will also be, But anyway, everyone's getting in on the game. You can do paint night at Sea Meadow, over on Main Street, and there's just a lot of stuff going on. So that's what's happening. It's going to be
Yeah,
really.
I know Cox Reservation's involved at all. There's a lot of green walking path tours and things of that nature happening. So yeah, I mean, anywhere in Essex, like, they're going to be involved in that one. We actually plan on being there for Friday the 19th to help sort of kick off things and alert the locals about what's happening. And Erika, maybe we'll have you on for that show too once we button up some details.
That would be great. That would be great. And it's not without its controversy. I also wrote about the fact that this, I don't know if you've been reading about this. It's been in the Gloucester Times quite a bit, which is the Essex River race.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mentioned that in my article. And the reason why I did is because you can't talk about Essex in Bloom without this. And so I wanted to kind of just address it because it's been coming up in these meetings. And it's really too bad, to be honest with you. I really hope, I mean, this is me personally. I hope they just find a way through this. Just for anyone who doesn't know, the Essex River Race is that it's the counterpart to the Blackburn Challenge. It's the same people, the Cape Ann Rowing Club. It's a volunteer organization of people who like to get out in boats and row everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like it couldn't be, how do you come out against that? Well, I guess you do come out against that only because that actually has been taking place in May for many, many years. I talked to the organizer, Bob Blair, It's been going on since before the Blackburn Challenge, he tells me, which means it's been going on for almost 40 years. And this is an informal group. They go out and they do a 5.5 mile, rowing race. And it does bring in business to town. I mean, he told me that, they spent $5,000 in lunches with local restaurants, from the organization to the restaurant. That's like one that's like non-negotiable. And then you have other things like, I've heard some anecdotal stories about people benefiting. So it does benefit. But last year, I guess it was very, very disruptive because the race did not appropriately act with the town's rules. And one of them, and it's a kind of a hard one, is the fact that in 2020, the town of Essex closed its public boat ramp to non-residents. And that was a problem.
Right.
That was overlooked. They'd used it anyway, and it was a big problem. Hopefully, everyone kind of comes together and works it out. That's all I'll say. We'll have like an update later, because I know that the town is going to pick it up after the annual town meeting, which is this week.
Sounds good. Okay, thanks for that, Erika. Also, we have an election forum coming up on Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. We have, well, it's actually 2 election forums technically, because they're back to back. They're 2 on one night. And we talked about this last week. We're doing this with 1623, which we do every year. When there is a contested election, we'll have a forum so that people get to hear and see the candidates, ask them questions, et cetera. And this is going to be for the planning board. It's going to be taking place on Thursday. The select board is going first. That's 3 candidates: Karen Bennett, Ann Harrison, John Round. That's alphabetical, so that it's nice and fair. Karen Bennett is the challenger, and the 2 incumbents are Harrison and Round. That's going to take place 6 o'clock in the cafeteria of the Manchester Essex Regional High School. And then following that at 7:30 is the planning board. We did that second because that's 4 candidates for 2 slots. So it's a little more heat around that one, I think, but maybe not. And that's in alphabetical order again: Marty Flood, challenger; Donna First, challenger; incumbent Chris Olney; and incumbent Susan Philbrick. And that should be interesting. So there you go.
Should. Okay, looking forward to that. Also, we want to make a quick note about annual town meeting coming up as well.
Yeah, the annual town meeting for Essex is tonight. And that's the whopper that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. So I'll
42 warrants, and good luck.
I'll tell you all about that next week when we talk.
Okay. And lastly, there's this nice story about Gordon McDougal.
Oh my gosh, Gordon McDougal. Gordon McDougal is, you remember he used to have the Boston Post cane when it was given to the eldest male. He's still, he turned 100 years old. And I went to his party, and we have a nice picture of him. He had a party that was thrown by Barney Corning and his wife Angela at the Essex County Club. It's the country club here in Manchester. And it's funny, I didn't mention him in the paper because they don't like publicity. So we went, and actually I have to say it was a great showing. Gordon was so happy. His family was all there. The place was packed. And Bruce Tarr came and gave him a proclamation from the state. So he got a lot of lovely attention. So shout out to Gordon McDougal, centenarian.
That's right. Yeah. Cheers, Gordon, to that. And good luck with the next 100. That'll be great. That'll be the bicentennial. That'll be something special.
Would we all live that long?
Yeah.
But if I continue what I did last night, maybe I won't make it.
Yeah, we might not even see you next week for the show. All right, Erika. Well, I'm sure we're going to follow up with the big town meeting in Essex, of course. There's a lot to unpack with that one. So we will see you next Monday.
That's right. Bye.
Interested in a sponsorship? Email sponsor@1623studios.org to learn more.